Okay, guys, we are live. I haven't been live for a while. I'm back with a very special guest, Owen from the Cop On podcast, top of the range podcast, LFC content, of course. We'll chat about that near the end of the show, where you can find them and stuff like that. Owen, great to see you.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Dave, for inviting me back.
At short notice, I was just getting itchy feet. I was away on holidays for a few days down in Galway, in the west coast of Ireland, and I said I better do a live show because I took today off. You know, when you come back on a Sunday, you don't really want to go to work the next day. You always want a day just to relax. And bits have been happening in the background while I was away. I'm sure you've been watching them and talking about them on the group chat and stuff like that. But before we do that, I have to jump into the main course. And I think Gini Villine, obviously he's gone to PSG. Listen, I'm happy for him. He was unbelievable. He did an unbelievable I think it was 5 years at Liverpool. I can't say really a bad word about him, but I'm gonna give you my thoughts on what he said, and I'm sure you have something to say about it too. My thoughts on it are, I actually think, I'm going to be a bit controversial, I actually think it was a bit of a smoke screen. I think it was more to do with FSG's stance on contract situations with older players, and that he probably wanted, well, he did want more money and wanted to extend his contract even further than what they were offering him. And, you know, every fan base has a dodgy percentage points of lunatics, you know what I mean, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, especially on Twitter, toxic Twitter. So, you know, just to start saying, I think it was a stupid thing to do in a way. I think it was a silly thing to do. It nearly ruined your legacy in a way. I mean, you've got your move, you're gone to PSG, you're almost like a legend at Liverpool by 99% of the fans. Let's be real, there's only a small percentage that have a problem with him. And to come out with sort of, maybe it was written the wrong way or said the wrong way, and just to come out, it's sort of a bit of a taste in the mouth stuff. I just, you know, there's a lunatics there, but don't let them ruin what you had at Liverpool, the 2 or 3% lunatics. What's your thoughts on the Gini debacle?
Well, it's a funny thing. Like, how do we process information in the social media age, right? If you look at what he actually said, okay, the actual real quotes, I've got them in front of me here.
Go ahead.
He said we had an interview with the Times, and he said, word for word, every day in training and in the game, I gave everything. Liverpool meant so much to me. There were some moments when I didn't feel loved and appreciated there. Not by my teammates, not by the people at Melwood. I know they all loved me, but there were moments when I didn't feel loved. I had it a few times. The media didn't help. And also some fans said things like, okay, I'm paraphrasing now, but some fans said things like, okay, he didn't get the offer, so he didn't try his best to win games. Okay, some fans. Now, this thing, I think, you know, and then he added, you know, the fans in the stadium and the fans on social media are two different things. This is a key. Yeah. This is a key phrase. And this is a thing. You're on social media, Dave. I'm on social media. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've got good, positive feedback because, you know, I'm very thankful that it's great for Cop On. Generally, people have been very kind, very, you know, supportive. Occasionally, though, you get someone who's like, I don't know if they're in a bad mood or if they're, you know, a little bit dim and they like to criticize everything and they never have a positive, or if they're depressed or if they have some kind of illness or something. But they, you know, these people, you can actually go through all their tweets. They never have anything positive to say. And it's those little negative ones that annoy me. Right? Yeah. Cop On is tiny. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny podcast. Liverpool have millions of followers worldwide. And so you can understand why footballers, if Liverpool, for example, don't win a game, you then get, you know, let's say even 100 people sending negative messages to our players saying you didn't try hard enough. You know, with Gini Wijnaldum, it was these idiots saying, well, you know, you should pass forward more, you should attack more, like regardless of Jurgen Klopp's tactical instructions to him. And like, it's nonsense. This kind of criticism is something that just annoys the F out of me. It really does.
Don't worry, you can curse. You can curse. Don't worry about it.
well, okay. Well, it annoys the shit and the fuck out of me because Because like, what are they going to do? Gini Wijnaldum's there and he's going to read, Reckless Robbo or, Rabid Robertson, at Rabid Robbo. So, oh no, at Rabid Robbo thinks I should pass it more, forward. And, it's like, fucking hell. Sorry, I'm swearing a lot now, but it really does get my goat. Like they're not going to pay any attention to Rabid Robbo, apart from the fact that they've just been criticised, and it hurts. And it hurts in footballers, because they give so much. I know lots of people do, whatever walk of life you're in. I teach English as a foreign language. I would be upset if someone said, I really don't like the way that you teach, if, I don't like it, you should do this, you should do that, especially someone who is not a teacher themselves. So to get hundreds of people who I don't know criticizing, for example, my teaching technique, when I know that I try my very best to be a good teacher, I try to be the best teacher I can. And so it would hurt, just like it would hurt anyone. Footballers are people. I think a lot of this, has been blown out of proportion. That he said, for example, that Gini said that he left the club because of the abuse on social media. He never actually said that. Look at the quotes, which is why we have to be very careful how we process information, because a lot of the things that are, that apparently, someone on Twitter said that he criticized Klopp and Pep Blinders. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Read what he said.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And we should stop. I say any Liverpool fan should stop criticizing our players on social media, because it's counterproductive. It hurts our players' feelings, and it's very, very silly. Oh, thank you very much.
He is a teacher, by the way. a teacher of LFC knowledge. The thing about it is, as you just said, you'll always, when you get interviews, I mean, it's famous for it. You'll get people taking bits out of the interview and deconstructing the bloody interview into the interview they want, or they wanted in the first place. Mm-hmm. And you'll always get that, especially Liverpool haters, probably not even Liverpool fans, let's be real. How do we know they're even Liverpool fans? Or Gini haters, or whatever. I mean, even when he started at Liverpool, I remember when we signed him from Newcastle, I think it was about 25 million at the time. There was a lot of go, why did we sign him? That type of thing. There was a lot of that. But Gini, for me, did so much bloody hard work behind the scenes. You wouldn't even know he was on the pitch half the time. But all that little bits of winning the ball back, running around like he drank 6 fucking cans of Red Bull every game. The energy this guy had. I think he said something in the interview about he even ran through pain barriers and was rarely injured, to be fair. He's one of those players, But you'd notice when he wasn't in the team on. People say we wouldn't notice when he's in the team. You'd notice when he wasn't in the team.
No, yeah, totally.
Do you know what I mean?
He was a brilliant player. My love for Gini Wijnaldum is not sullied in any way whatsoever. I mean, only the other day I watched the brilliant documentary on LFC TV, European Royalty, about our run to the. I mean, it's extraordinary, and you can't look at those 2 goals or even think about those 2 goals that Gini scored against Barcelona in that semi-final, and just like smile, just think, I get sort of goosebumps thinking about it. I still can't believe it. 2 years on, he was instrumental, and not just for those goals, but the massive run, that season to finish, on 97 points and not win the league, insane. And then to go 2 points better to win the league is crazy. Like, it's really, truly crazy how important he was and how brilliant he was. And to get criticism for anything, like, I don't know, just relax, people, enjoy the good times and support the players and get behind them. And as Why Not says, Gini's pinnacle versus Barca. I mean, that was unbelievable. But he's been brilliant for years.
It's one of the games, that 4-0 semi-final second leg at Anfield is one of a very few handful of games you would actually watch the whole bloody 90 plus minutes. Like, it's one of those games that, even though you know the result, you're still You know what I mean? You're at 4-0, you're saying, don't Barca, don't score. Milner has the ball up on the corner flag, kick it out. Even though it's history, it's in a different, it's probably a different result in a different dimension. But in our dimension we live in, the result was 4-0, and that was against a good Barca side, remember. They just won the league the week before, I think, or a few days before.
Messi, oh man, beautiful team.
Coutinho, 2 ex-Liverpool players. But I mean, yeah, that was obviously his pinnacle, the 2 goals there. And I think he mentions in the interview about that, he remember he came on at half-time, that's what spurred him on in the second half because of the fact he didn't start the game. Well, sometimes that happens all the bloody time with players. I wouldn't be worried about that game,
Totally. And replacing him, yeah, I mean, he's going to be missed. Exactly. Replacing him. I've got his stats in front of me here because I like the data.
I know, stat man on. Go ahead.
But he in all competitions, he played 4,080 minutes last season. 4,080 minutes. Now, I'll give you some context, right?
Wow.
Jordan Henderson in all competitions, and this is including international football, 1,985. So less than half of the minutes that Wijnaldum played. Henderson played less than half. Fabinho played 2,565 minutes. So Wijnaldum 4,000 minutes. We're gonna need 2 players, I reckon, to replace him.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah,
I really do think so. But
well, as you said, we'll notice it now. He's gone, won't we? That gap, that 4,000 minute gap. How are you going to fill it? I mean, you've Curtis Jones there. Everybody say, I don't know whether he fills 4,000 minutes. I just don't see it. I think you need to bring someone in. I think you need someone international level, probably even Champions League level, to come in and fill even half of that, even to fill 2,000 minutes.
Who would you buy, Dave? What kind of profile? Not names, but what style? Because we have 3 different styles: Saul, Neuhaus, and Bissouma, for example. These 3 different profiles.
I like Saul. I really do. I mean, he's technically brilliant. Most Spaniard, most Niguez, Atletico Madrid. It won't go away, that rumor. It won't go away. I know Atletico. Where Atletico thinking? You think we go to Barcelona at one stage, but that fell through because they've no money. By the way, they've no money, and I like your man Aouar. Is that how you pronounce him? The guy in France. Aouar. Cometh the man, cometh the hour.
Cometh the hour.
That's not bad, actually.
That's really good.
I like him as well, but he's more of an attacking midfielder where you couldn't really say. Although Gini could play in a few positions. You see what he did for Holland. Every time he went forward, more forward, he'd score goals, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
But I still think an attacking. I think you can never have enough attacking players on a team. I really do. If your defense is good, which I think our defense will be decent this year, if Van Dijk stays fit and Ibrahim Konate becomes the player I think he can. Plus you've got Gomez, Matip with his t-shirt on. I mean, he has to play. So, what do you think? You like your holding mids? You like your? I know.
I like Matip's t-shirt more than anything. But if you haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's a t-shirt of Virgil van Dijk holding up a Matip t-shirt. It's amazing, and hopefully Virgil will make another t-shirt of Matip. Okay. Anyway, I think there's a big hole in our squad. I've always been a fan of the destroyer, the number 6, but who can also play. I really like Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa, actually. In Brazilian football, they call this role the steering wheel because they steer the whole ship of the team.
Yeah, worry. Yeah.
And I think we need a destroyer. My problem with Saul Niguez is that he's similar to Thiago in terms of being technically unbelievable, but you can run past him.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge hole. This was the reason why we struggled a lot last season. It's why, this is a huge problem in the Villa game when Van Dijk was still fit. Remember the 7-2, we had Van Dijk and Gomez at the back, was turning around in midfield and covering and running backwards. They did it. That was like responsible for about 5 or 6 goals. It was really, really easy against us. And I think this is a genuine problem. We've got Fabinho who can play the number 6, Henderson who could maybe play there, but is it's not his best role. And who else? I mean, Gini's gone. Someone said Thiago can play there, but no, he
Not
can't
really.
run backwards.
No.
You know, we need physical players. So for me, I'd be so happy if we get someone like Bissouma or Goretzka, this profile, physical, strong, plays it simple, wins tons of tackles. You know, just look at, you know, looking around, the players we've been linked with, not Renato Sanchez, because he's not good enough defensively. Yeah. And I really want someone who's a destroyer, because if Fabinho gets injured, honestly, we're screwed. Like Thiago, Henderson, okay, he's good defensively. He's very good defensively, but no one else is good. And going forward, we've got enough. We've got enough attacking midfielders.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take that back. Gee, imagine someone like Kante. I mean, that would be, you know, obviously dreamland. I know what you mean. You mean someone can literally run all over the shop, get the tackles in without getting too many yellows. That's the problem with Thiago. His tackling isn't, I mean, you know, if he was playing that role, he'd be probably sent off every second game. Well, he wouldn't be able to play the next game. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You get, some of his tackles are late now. Come on, you know what I mean?
No, they are, but that's his style. He's high risk, high reward as well. Because if you look at the amount of tackles he made last season, he was our top tackler in midfield.
Yeah.
Because he actually he wins a lot with these sliding tackles, and people think, oh wow, good tackle, and they forget about it. But it's the one where he missed times, and it looks like it could be a red or a yellow. They look awful. Very, very similar style to Marco Verratti. If you watch him closely at PSG, always on the floor with tackles. It's unorthodox, but it's very effective. He wins the ball a lot more than he's given credit for.
Well, what do you think of Bissouma, the Brighton guy? That seems to feel.
You like love. Oh, I love Bissouma. You should watch if
he'd be nice. He'd be nice now, wouldn't he? I think he'd suit us.
Oh man, if you can go back to May when Brighton beat Man City 3-2. Okay, forgotten game. Watch Bissouma. He's the best midfielder on the
Premier
pitch.
League. Premier League.
Yeah, I was going to say in the world, in the universe, in the galaxy, but then that's not true because he's not as good as Liverpool's players. But no, he would be unbelievable signing, a destroyer, a true destroyer. But he's got guile as well. He's a smart player. He can play between the lines very simply. He doesn't do anything spectacular. He doesn't create, but he can. He's a one-man wrecking ball. And I would love that. But
did you ever see the Intergalactic Champions League final?
Exactly. Hendo's got the hat trick.
I'll tell you what, there was a great atmosphere on Uranus.
There always is.
But I mean, obviously, listen, the Gini debacle, as I just said, I think we just let it go. He'll still be a top player in my mind. I have nothing against him. I wish him well at PSG. We'll move on, I think. Just move on from it. Those lunatics on Twitter and Instagram or whatever, TikTok, whatever you want to call it, just forget about them. They're not the real Liverpool fans, guys. You know, so we good luck to Gini. Another thing, and I just see why not put it up there about Hendo. That was a weird thing about that. Did you see that thing about Henderson?
That's very interesting.
Henderson's camp undecided on what's going to happen. What's your thoughts on the Henderson situation?
Well, I think for these rumors to come out. I mean, agents are often greedy, and they want people to, they want their players to move on. Oh, so what's that? Alien cordyceps fungi have taken over Gini's brain. I like that. Excellent stuff. But no, Henderson. So the agent would want Henderson to move, maybe because he wants Henderson to get a shed load of money for the last 3 years of his career, 3 or 4 years of his career. He's 31 years old now, right? So the agent will think, well, I mean, I can get 10% of any new deal as well. That's good for me.
Exactly.
But from the player's point of view, you can imagine, like, he's led Liverpool so well off the pitch. On the pitch, he's been a bit injury injury prone, but he's turned into an absolute beast on the pitch. He's absolutely incredible now these days as a player. And if he's got 2 years left on his deal, he wouldn't want to leave for free at the end of the 2 years, I would imagine. So they, FSG, I mean, they seem like cold and heartless business people, don't they? They may not wish to break the bank for a new contract for Henderson because he's getting on. And as I say, he's injury prone. So they would want him to maybe leave for free after 2 years.
Yeah.
Keep him on his relatively low wages for, European Cup winning and Premier League winning captains. I think the FSG hold the cards here because they're the ones he's under contract. He's not the type of player to refuse to play for the club or feign bad back for 2 years. So unless Henderson, turns into that kind of player who's like, I need to force my way out of the club, which I can't really see, then, it looks like he'll be staying. So I'm not worried about it.
Hopefully. As you said, I was just looking at the midfield we just mentioned there a minute ago. Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago. They're not getting any younger, Eddie. There's loads of experience in there. And that's another reason why, as you're saying, we do need someone in there, I think, because of age factors and injuries. I mean, Fabinho's had a few injuries. We know Henderson's had a few. Thiago has had a few. And the older you are, probably the harder it is to come back from injuries as well. So we probably do. I think Liverpool will. I think they'll bring in one or two before the window closes. I really do. Hopefully. Another one we will touch on as well. Shaqiri, Shaq Meister, Roblox boy, the Cube, whatever you want to call him. It looks like, I say he wants out, but it looks like he wants to move. He wants to play football, Owen, to be fair. He hasn't played enough, really, has he? A few cameos here and there. Word up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got
if you got that, do you remember cameo from the 80s?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
Word up to you.
I've got his minutes played for Liverpool here. 3 seasons, apparently, because he signed for us. Is that right? Hang on, let's have a look. This seems a bit... No, since 1819, he's been a Liverpool player, okay?
1819?
Yeah. Not 1819.
200 years?
Oh, I see. Yeah, it took a while.
He probably has from 1819.
Sorry, the 18 forward / 19 season. Yes, but absolutely. But he's played 2,480 minutes. So Fabinho last season, despite Fabinho's injury, played more minutes last season than Shaq has since the beginning of 1819. 18/19.
Yeah.
So he's in that time, 8 goals in all competitions. This is 8 goals, 9 assists, 24 starts, and 61 total appearances. So he's made 37 substitute appearances, 24 starts, 8 goals, 9 assists. And what this works out as, because he's always been an attacking player, is 0.62 goals and assists per 90 in his Liverpool time. 0.62 per 90, which is actually good. Harvey Elliott for Blackburn got 0.59 goals plus assists last season. And interestingly, Sadio Mane got 0.58 or 59 as well, goals plus assists. So Shaq at 0.62, he's more than Sadio Mane if you take all of his career, but he hasn't played enough. He's not fast enough. Sadio Mane in total in all of his time at Liverpool is 0.70 goals and assists per 90. Diogo Jota is 0.73 goals and assists per 90. So we need, hello Jade, by the way, we need someone who's around 0.7, 0.72, 0.73 goals plus assists per 90. He's down at 0.62, so he is replaceable. He hasn't played very often. I like him. I think he's been a great guy. Like he just seems he's definitely he's coming to my barbecue if he wants to. He can come to my barbecue.
Is it true what they say? You know, do you remember the European Championships? The little car that came on to bring the ball. Was it true that he drove that?
Well, no, he couldn't reach the pedals. Though. He couldn't reach the pedals.
Oh,
but,
I had a rumor going around. He was the driver. That's terrible. Sorry, Shaq.
No, bless him. He's he's been great. He's been a great sort of sub to have. But Harvey Elliott is the ready-made replacement. Harvey Elliott, same kind of player. He can play. Coming from midfield, he's a bit more adaptable. Harvey Elliott, and he can play across the front three as well. I think Harvey Elliott is the right time to sell Shaq, and also very importantly, we're only allowed 17 non-homegrown players in the squad. I mean, at the moment, we've got exactly 17. So we need to sell to buy someone who's not homegrown. Yeah.
No, definitely Shaq. I think Shaq is going to leave. Hopefully, it's all about money. We need to get a few million, 12, 13, whatever we need. But as you say, Harvey Elliott, we'll just touch on Harvey Elliott. Exciting teenager Elliott. For me, I always knew... I just think Klopp's looking at him in pre-season. He looks ready for me, Owen. I mean, I know he's only a kid, but so what? I mean, it's plenty of kids, 17, 18, 19, that have made it in top clubs. And I don't think it should be any different for him. I don't think he goes out on loan. I think we keep him.
I'd love to see it. I mean, I've only seen him in pre-season, since last pre-season. I didn't watch any Blackburn matches. Blackburn fans loved him. I did look at their forums and stuff and heard Blackburn fans talking about him, and they absolutely loved him. And he's definitely bigger than last year. I mean, he's not far from the finished physical product that he will become, but he's got a very good physique for an 18-year-old, and I love him in that new role. I don't know what you think, Dave, in that sort of Iniesta role. Iniesta, coming forward in the midfield three. Iniesta came forward on the left-hand side of a midfield three because he was right-footed, and it's the mirror image with Harvey Elliott. What do you think about that role in midfield?
No, I do. I mean, it's like going into a deli and asking for like a lovely roll and then eating and saying, I liked that roll. So for me, I do. And I've always thought about it. This guy has potential coming out with his ears. The only thing I would say about him is his haircuts. You want to sort those hair. Maybe take the hair off, because I'm sure Klopp's not mad about. Klopp's a real old school, tattoos, earrings, haircuts. You know what I mean? He's like the old school teacher. So you want to be careful of those Instagram pictures getting haircuts and tattoos, because I'm sure Klopp, being the grand master, wouldn't be too happy. But the role, I just think, I think the time is right for him. I think this is it. As you said, they look to be doing something different. I know they're only pre-season games, and really pre-season games are all about fitness. Really, that's all for me. I don't take anything from pre-season. I mean, United got beaten 4-1 by QPR the other day. I mean, it means nothing. So what? Okay, you can laugh, which we will, but not much taken from them. The role, I like him as a player. I just hope, the potential, everything's there right now. It's up to him now and the group around him, which he seems to have a good peer group, or agent and his parents and all that around him. Klopp likes him, which is a big thing.
Fabulous, isn't it?
And attitude and confidence. I think he's confident. We know that. He always was. Similar to Curtis Jones. He's got that little X factor. And to be honest, I think him and Curtis Jones, this is a huge, if he stays at Liverpool, which I think he will, he won't go out and loan, is a huge season for those two young boys. They could actually cement. He's not going to play every game. Even if he stays, he's probably going to play a handful of League Cup, FA Cup, the odd Champions League game when we've qualified. But you never know. He might even be in the squad for the Norwich game.
That's the thing. I mean, our midfield, looking at our midfield, there's definitely going to be space there. You can guarantee there'll be injuries. Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, Milner. All of these are going to be injured at some point. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita, they're all going to be injured. So there will be a spot, in that midfield three, I'm sure, in a number 8 position.
Another thing I notice a lot, listen, I hate talking about Twitter and Instagram and the toxic fan base, but you always hear them talking about, as soon as any big club signs a player, and we haven't done that yet, and FSG, I'm sure we'll have 1 or 2 in, but what you have to remember is, and I don't know whether it must have been FSG's fault, But a lot of our top stars' contracts are up in 2023. I'm talking the likes of Shaqiri, Van Dijk, Henderson, as we just said. All the top boys. Alisson, I know, is close to signing. Van Dijk, yeah. So that's big money to give them not only extensions, but to probably give them a better wage. I mean, 4 or 5 of your top stars getting an extra 2 or 3 years on top of maybe doubling or 25% more wages is a lot of money. You know what I mean? To do in one summer window, to do in one transfer window. So that's why I'm thinking, even though we're getting 30, 40 million in with these sales, if Shaqiri goes, there's still room for 1 or 2, but I can't see them splashing huge. I just can't see it.
No, you're right. You're right. And these unrealistic fans who want Liverpool to be, run by an oil-rich state, or by
we'll get on to that now in a minute. Go on.
Well, they do. I mean, obviously, they've either played FIFA and they've got this unrealistic idea of what transfers are, or they're they just they're jealous of the clubs that can splash the cash. FSG, I'm not. Oh, sorry, there's a bus. I think beeping outside. If you can hear that. FSG. I'm not necessarily a huge FSG in kind of guy, but you got to give credit where it's due and insult them where it's due, and certain things they should be insulted for. But in terms of the model that they've got, we don't need to buy big, and we don't need to I like their cold business attitude because it works. They brought us the Premier League, they've brought us the Champions League. Finishing third last season was absolutely wonderful, and I just think with contracts and stuff, they're going to make the right decisions. They're going to be cool. They're going to be calculated. They're going to say, right, who should we really offer contracts to? And they're long negotiations contracts usually. So, I trust them to make the right decisions in terms of contracts and in terms of transfers. I really do. And we'll see who they want to re-sign and which deals they do. But at the moment, I'm quite relaxed about it, but it is a bit of a niggling worry.
It's a niggling worry if it goes into next summer and you've only a year left on a lot of the top stars' contracts, and they say, listen, we're going to run this down and just do a Gini or do whatever you want, and you lose the likes of Salah or a Van Dijk for nothing. Now, that would be a bit of a nightmare. That's the problem.
Absolutely. Then it would be full-blown panic. We panic at the disco and outside of it.
The FSGers would be out, in and out, shaking all about. But here's another one. I see why not there. Keita, Naby, the enigma that is Naby lad. I mean, this is every season's a big season for Naby. But I mean, if he could get his act together and stay fit, get a run of games, I mean, he could become the player you want him to become on, and I want him to become.
I'm no longer hopeful. Last year was the last time that I was like, I'm going to give him this season, maybe this is going to be his year. I'm no longer thinking that, but I love Keita when he's on the pitch. But he played 520 Premier League minutes last season and 146 Champions League minutes, including that absolute horror show against Real Madrid. But generally, he's a brilliant player, and I loved his cameo the other day. I mean, they're all
the nutmeg.
Yeah, I mean, Nutmeg City. This was it's like visiting Spice World. So much nutmeg, you can't, you can't even shake a stick at it. He was, utterly brilliant, and you could see all the potential there. The passing as well, the way that he picks up the ball, he can either turn, he can pass through the lines, vertical. He's a very, very clever player, a brilliant player, progressive. He's a progressive player, dribbles. And I just think that if he can do, I mean, it's so in the Premier League, just in the Premier League, 520 minutes last season, 815 minutes the season before, and 1,390 minutes the season before that, which is still not very good, Dave, because, Gini Wijnaldum...
4,000!
Yeah, well, 3,000 in the Premier League, yeah,
Yeah.
3,200 or something, and Andy Robertson about the same, Mohamed Salah about the same.
Wow.
So, you know, in 3 seasons at Liverpool, he's only had 2,725 minutes. It's not enough, but hopefully we've changed our physical trainers, and, you know, if we can...
Yeah.
You know, why not say only $70 million worth of Band-Aid? It's very harsh, but I understand where you're coming from. There is the big if he can stay fit, but I want him to get at least 1,390 minutes like he did in the first season, and that was 16 starts, 25 total appearances. If he gets 16 games in the Premier League this season or 18 games, I'll be happy enough.
Yeah,
because he's brilliant if he's able to do that.
Yeah.
If he's able to do the whole season, then we're going to
Wow.
win everything.
Well, yeah, I was so excited when he played, when he was at Leipzig in Germany. I'm sure you were watching him as well.
Oh, yeah, like a hawk.
When the fact we'd signed him, I think it was nearly 60 million. It was a lot of money at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't actually bring him to Liverpool. So he was there for another season. So I was watching most of it. Every game he played, he was either being sent off, yellow carded, scoring, assisting, you know, doing
stuff. Yeah,
he was doing them all in one game, and I was going, "Oh my god, this guy's going to be like Thierry Henry. So this guy's going to be ridiculous." But I mean, injuries, as we know, similar to Oxlade-Chamberlain, injuries can ruin you. Basically, there's another one, Ox. You think he's got a bigger Delhi role this season?
He's obviously cover for in the false nine. I mean, this is something that Klopp's been working on.
Yeah,
you know, obviously in training. He hasn't convinced me that he's good enough in the false nine, because I mean, one of his great attributes is the dynamic running from midfield. But maybe, as you say, injuries take their toll. Maybe he's lost that ability just simply because of the. Yeah. You know, terrible ligament damage that he suffered. I love the guy. I wish for him that it could be his year, but like exactly the same. I mean, maybe then our new doctors and physical trainers are magic men, and you know, they got the shamans. They can get the horse placenta or the badger's spleen out or whatever. You remember that one? That Croatian doctor who rubbed horse placenta on Yossi Benayoun's hamstring and it healed in 3 days, and then that person disappeared. That'd be a good podcast, that doctor, to see what happened. Anyway, yeah, so it's the same. Keita, Chamberlain. I'm holding out no hope, but it's like, you know, it's a glorious dream that they can stay at least a bit fit and healthy.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
And well, listen, as you just said, I mean, you could do a whole podcast just on Naby Keita, couldn't you? You could do a whole hour just chatting about his injuries, his non-injuries. In an alternate universe, I mean, he'd probably be one of the best players in the world if he hadn't got the injuries. But I mean, I think you should just take the PlayStation off him, because he keeps getting injured every time he plays it. I mean, that's how injury prone he is. You know, he get injured getting out of the shower. So I think. I don't know. I like him as a player. I like him as a Naby. He seems to be good crack, actually. And they seem to take the piss out of him an awful lot. Naby lad. So, yeah, I mean, I like him around the camp. He seems to be very good. But another guy, we're not going to go yet. We could probably stay for the hour. Nat Phillips, the hero of last year, the second, it has to be said, real hero. I mean, without him and young Reece Williams, I don't think we wouldn't have got Champions League football.
Definitely not.
What do you think of Nat Steiner going? I know Brighton. Is it Brighton or West Ham? Someone's interested in him. Would you like to see him go, or get the money and let him go?
Rob Gutman on Twitter yesterday, a very, very sensible idea. He said we should keep Nat Phillips until January, just to see how Gomez, Matip and Van Dijk's injury comebacks go. Because if all three of them have a setback, it's entirely possible. It's very possible. Then we're going to need Nat Phillips, you know, because he's a brilliant player. Yeah, like, you know, it's easy to underestimate a player like that. He's certainly not exactly fashionable, but Liverpool were top of the form table for the last 10 games of last
Unbelievable.
season. 7 wins, 2 draws, and a loss, with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams playing all of those games at the back, I believe.
Was it not? Did we not finish 8 wins and 2 draws last 10?
I think it was 7-2-1, according to
I
the
was
site.
8-2. Anyway.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Was equal with Leeds United on the site that I was looking at.
Oh,
but,
wow.
yeah, so I think, Nat Phillips is brilliant. I think that would make sense that we keep him until January just to see how the others do. Because I don't want to see Fabinho dropping back there.
No, I think that was one of the biggest mistakes we made. But obviously, Klopp in January, we were panicking. Didn't think Nat Phillips and Reece Williams were ready. He's probably saying, these boys, I'm throwing them in at the lion's den here. They're going to get eaten alive, basically. But instead, they turned out to be like the Colosseum boys with the gladiators. They put on the gladiators. And they became gladiators with, tape wrapped around their heads.
They
like
did.
Terry Butcher. Was it Terry Butcher? Remember him? For
yes,
England.
I remember, in the World Cup 1986 or
1990.
1990. Yes, the
1990. Yeah.
Italia 90.
Italia, I remember that well. But giving away my age there. But as you say, I just think it's going to be, listen, I'm just looking forward to the new season now, and I'm sure you are. We've Norwich away first game, Carrow Road, newly promoted Norwich. That's going to be a tough one. When you're away from home, I don't know whether I don't know the situation with fans in England. I know they're on about COVID passports and all this. Do you know the ins and outs of the attendances for the matches for the Premier League, or do you know yet?
I'm far from an expert on what's going on at the best of times, but at the worst of times, like during a global pandemic, I'm the last person you should ask. But I get the feeling that they're gonna, go for herd immunity, that they're past.
That's what they're doing at the moment, isn't it?
The peak, Britain, hopefully past the peak, and the more people that can socialize, and people who are vaccinated with a vaccinated passport, because even if you get COVID, hopefully it's not so bad. Hopefully, if you've been vaccinated, so hopefully. Fans will be back in, but that opening game against Norwich, I mean, they made a brilliant signing with Billy Gilmore to get him on loan. But they've lost Buendia, which is very good news for us. 15 goals and 15 assists in the Championship last season.
That's the Villa, didn't he?
And he's a wonderful player, wonderful talent. I would have liked him for Liverpool, to be honest. But that's good news that he's gone for us. But Billy Gilmore, great little midfielder, and then We'll see. I think we should have enough. We should have enough to beat Norwich. And but I can't wait.
Hopefully. Maybe bring Suarez back just for one game. Two games, home and away.
Oh, man. If we can get him, if he's available for the last 20 minutes of matches, can you imagine?
Listen, I love Suarez. I don't know about you, but he was just, wow. He was different level, that fella. He was just different level. Another thing, which, I don't say the word it came out of the blue or not, but the probe into the oil-rich super nation of Manchester City, the FFP, the Premier League getting blocked left, right, and centre, the tour bus full of lawyers. I mean, what's your take on this? I can't see City ever being done. There's too many bloody lawyers, but it's not good for the game, is it?
It's truly. It's truly shameless. Because basically, with the CAS ruling, I don't want to comment on what's going on because I don't have all the facts. But the CAS, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, they didn't let them off because they were innocent. They let them off on a technicality.
Yeah,
and we shouldn't forget that. Their per season net spend over the last 5 years is £101 million. Liverpool's is 18.5 million. So it's more than 5 times Liverpool's net spend per season. If you're spending 100 million a season when you're a little club like City who can't fill their stadium week in, week out, then obviously there's something fishy going on. And, if there are emails that are damning to that effect, and if the Premier League want to investigate that, but City have, the most expensive lawyers in the world, then, it's just another if they get away with it again, it just reinforces my cynicism at the whole justice system, because this is financial doping that does ruin the competition.
The game.
Like, City have won the league 3 out of the last 4 years, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're in Paris now, aren't you? You live in Paris, in France.
Yeah.
I mean, PSG are in the same boat, aren't they?
Yeah.
Let's be real. You know what I mean?
And I teach English sometimes at PSG people, with PSG people, and
be careful what you say.
I can't. Well, I can't. On a personal level, I mean, it's been great for me to meet people in the club and to teach them. Oh, there you go, 12 million and 2 million add-ons. Well done.
Is that official? Is that official? But anyway.
But yeah, no, I think PSG is the same, and PSG's problem is that no one else is financial doping in the French league. The French league needs another team, at least one, preferably 2 or 3, with the same type of backing, because it's not fair. And I feel sorry for the fans of other clubs. PSG is my French team because I've been living here for 13 years, and it's great. They're great. They're fun to watch, and I quite like the idea of PSG winning over, for example, Man City or Chelsea. But for these rich teams, it's like, I don't know. It just seems like a way of laundering money. Possibly. Yeah. I'm not saying that they're doing it, but it could be a way of just funneling lots of dodgily obtained money, whether it's oil, whether it's anything else. That you just, I don't know. I hope they don't get away with it for the good of the Premier League, to be honest, because otherwise...
Good of the European, UEFA even. I mean, they all backtrack. I think it's just they're too powerful. They're literally too bloody powerful. The lawyers, they're state-owned. I think it should be drawn, the line should be drawn on state-owned. Never mind the company owning them. A bloody state owning a football team. That can't be right for a start.
No, it's right. That's right.
Do you know what I mean? That's where the line should be drawn, I think. Same with PSG. PSG, I mean, obviously City, but I mean, I can't see that happening in the long term. I just keep putting it off. But nothing will happen. Yeah,
a salary cap and a transfer fee cap across all of football would be great, because then that goes down to, it's like Formula One, everybody driving the same car.
Yeah.
Because then it's the best driver wins. And so, if it's a similar thing in football, then we'll have the best coach team. Hello, Helen. The best coach team will win. So I'm all for that. I really am. Even though it would be to the detriment of Liverpool, but I'd like to see teams like Palace or these kind of teams challenging for the.
But look at Leicester City.
Yeah, they
don't get enough kudos. I don't think. I think they've been brilliant the last 4 or 5 seasons, especially their owners. They've had a lot of tragedy at the club as well, of course, but they've been absolutely brilliant, well-run club. Okay, they're a millionaire family that they're not poor. They're a rich family that own them, but I think they do things right on and off the pitch.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You see, of course they got lucky. When I say they got lucky with Kante, because for me Kante is like one of my favourite non-Liverpool players ever. Yeah. He's unbelievable, and he thrusted them to the win, along with their other great players, Riyad Mahrez, etc., Jamie Vardy, of course. But the way we're talking about them as overachieving to finish in the top 6 year on year, it's sad. It's sad, Dave. It's sad for the for the good of the league to say that they're overachieving to finish 5th.
Yeah,
they should be overachieving and challenging for the league. But they can't, because, the top 6 are too powerful, especially City. City are cheats. Everyone knows it. The Premier League have to make a stand. Otherwise, what's the point? I would agree. I mean, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't see anybody taking a stand. There's so much money going around, slushing around. Like, if you take a stand, the money goes down everywhere, as you just said. So I can't see them taking a stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a very good point. But I've got Pep Guardiola's transfer purchased players history in front of me as well, and he made. If you set the bar at 39 million, you'll see why in a minute. Then he's made 12 signings over 39 million, going up to Ruben Diaz as the most expensive, 68 million euros. Right?
Yeah,
that's 12 of them. Jurgen Klopp has made 7. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made 4, starting with Donny van der Beek, 39 million euros. Okay, so that's why I put the bar there. So, sorry, 5, because this doesn't include Sancho. So, Klopp's signed 7. Solskjaer's bought 5. 7 and 5, there's not much difference. But 12, 5 extra 40 million plus players.
Yeah.
That's going to make a huge difference. Imagine you sign 40 million players. You sign Daka, Saul Niguez, Bissouma. Who else can we sign? Koulibaly, why not? Just for a laugh. And, someone like, an attacker around 40 million.
Chiesa for 86 million.
Or you could swap 2 of those for Chiesa. Then Liverpool's squad is suddenly capable of challenging on all 4 fronts. If City are the only team capable of doing it because they have,
they can field 2 teams. Let's be real.
Well,
Let's be real.
More or less. They can. Of course they can. And, not to say that they've got, all of these deals right as well, because they've, splurged a lot of money on nothing, chucked it out. Well, how was Berlin? It was very nice. Thanks, Doug. Very nice. Hello. I do recommend Berlin. Great place to go. But yeah, so you see my point here is that by City, outspending everyone, a net spend of 101 million per season, per transfer window, it makes a mockery of the competition, makes the competition very boring, because City are the out and out favourites every year, just because they can buy all these players with no
consequence, basically.
Exactly.
But we're going to stay on for the last 8 minutes. We give it the hour. Hopefully we sign him as well. We go into Retro Unlimited. Edwards has generated 42 million sales with Shaq gone. That leaves 1 midfield spot now available for replacement. Exactly how we started this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, there's going to be a lot of money, a lot of time, and Edwards' group just working on contract extensions for our top elite 5 or 6 players. That must have took a lot of energy out of the transfer committee. Let's be fair.
And I've got a question for you, Dave, as well, and people in the chat as well. Get your cold business heads on, right? Okay, because the French league is in, not tatters, but it's certainly being ripped a bit, like those ripped jeans that are so fashionable.
From the 80s, actually, I used to wear them.
Well, there you go. You were way ahead of your time as usual.
Bros, do you remember Bros? Do you?
Of course, I remember.
When will I be famous?
Exactly. Yes, of course. Yeah, and have you seen the documentary, the Bros documentary?
No.
When the screaming stops, oh my god, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. You have to watch this.
Check that out.
Oh man,
the Goss brothers,
unintentionally hilarious, but truly hilarious. But it's unintentional. Anyway, it's like Spinal Tap, but it's real. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I had a question for everyone. What was my question? Oh yeah,
the French League.
So are you going to wait? Because towards the end of the transfer window, I would imagine these French clubs are going to be panicking because they haven't sold enough players, right? So you keep an eye on the best talent. There's tons of talent there. And you wait until the last moment and you get a great young talent like our for a cut down price, like 18, 20 million? Or do you go early? Now we got the money from Shaq and you say, right, okay, we're going to get someone for 40 million. Because I think you can get 2 players from France for 40 million.
Wow.
Who have got great potential. What would you do, Dave?
Well, I know what FSG would do. FSG would do exactly what you just said. They'd wait till the end. I mean, when you think about last season, we waited right to the end to get Jota, didn't we? I know it could have been, the deal would have been done over the summer. Thiago as well. It's probably a long-term thing. This is probably going on 12 months because FSG rarely leave it till the last second. You know, they could do this season, but usually it's 12 months, 18 months in the background working, chipping away, aren't they? That's what they usually do. That's their model. I know FSG obviously try to get a player cheaper than as possible, and the longer they wait, and if the player only says a year contract, they're saying, well, we'll give you 20 now. You can go for nothing next season. Bang, deal done. But to be honest, the more we've done this podcast, the more I see we need a destroyer in midfield more than anything. The more we see. I'm coming around to your thinking, my friend. That Bros doc is amazing. I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen it. Have not seen it.
It's one of the best documentaries I've seen, and I watch a lot of documentaries.
Yeah, no, that's all I watch is documentaries, and I haven't watched that one. And Mbappe, I think we can put that one in the cold shower for the moment. Oh no, he's free. He's free next summer, isn't he? Is he on a free?
Yes.
Last year.
He's also dreamed of Real Madrid for many years.
It will be Real Madrid. That was my second answer. It'd be Spain. As you say, Spanish football, money-wise, is in trouble.
Yes,
Barcelona are in trouble.
So you wait till the end of the deal and put in a cheeky bid for Pedri. See if they could say no. They will say no.
They will say
no. But someone they've got some wonderful players in their squad. So yeah, why not? I'd buy Haaland, no questions asked.
Oh, I like Haaland.
Yeah,
you don't like him?
I adore him. I think he's an unbelievable player, and if he's but. We can't afford his wages.
Do you know what? I think he'll go to Chelsea next year. I've been thinking about it. London still has. Well, London has that call. What's the story with Kane and City? Is that going ahead or what? What's going on there?
Spurs have said publicly they're definitely not going to sell him.
That's just the money's just going up. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I don't know because I think it depends on this Premier League inquiry. I think City have been very quiet. So I don't know. But unfortunately, I can't see. Yeah, Marlon's going to go to Dortmund, apparently.
The problem with Riola, see that guy, Mina Riola, he's the celebrity bloody agent. I have an issue with agents. Now, I know agents, obviously, most of them, 99% of them, they're looking out for the welfare of the player. But this guy, Riola, seems to be looking out for himself. It's all about the money. And the thing with agents is, I wish they'd be like the 007 agents back in the 80s and would just be secret agents. Be not seen or heard. And not shaken, not stirred. Just hiding away there like secret agents. 007. You know what I mean? That's what I would like. But it's not going to happen.
Well, I've taught English to a few agents here in France, actually. Like 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, they do have the players' welfare very much is very, very important.
Yeah, obviously.
But they're also looking out for themselves and their wallets.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean and they're very. They drive the good ones drive a hard bargain. So I don't know. Maybe we should put a cap on agents' fees as well. That would be good.
Well, I mean, the same thing for Mina Riola could be said. He's like the Manchester City of agents. Let's be real. He's all the top stars signed up. I think he's Ronaldo and Messi. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Talent.
I mean Messi, but Ronaldo. Yeah. Who else?
Is he Sancho? Is he Jordan Sancho?
I can't remember. There were tons of them though. But he'll
suffocate their attack. I think he'll score goals. That's the problem with Kane. He'll score goals.
I'd be a bit worried if he does sign for City, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd be worried as well. Before we finish, we'll have a little trivia question or two, just to lighten it up, as they say. If you can stay for another 5 minutes on.
No problem.
And then I want you to give me an outro on the Cop On podcast. Top of the range podcast, guys. Okay. Get your questions in the comments about films, cartoons, music. As you just said, that documentary about Bros. When will I be famous? Brilliant. Really top two great looking guys. It has to be said. Actually, there was 3 of them. The guitarist originally was with them and then left. I don't know whether you remember that. But they were absolutely huge with the bottle tops on their shoes. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How odd. But yes. Mm-hmm.
But get your questions in. Well, as a kid growing up, Owen, when obviously back in the pre-1890s, what cartoons did you like watching as a child, or were you a cartoon fanatic?
Oh, it depends how far you go back. I mean,
I'm
I
going
love
back. I'm going 8, 9, 10, 11 age.
around that age.
Yeah.
Ulysses.
Ulysses 31.
Yeah, the space thing. If you don't know it, it's a guy who's traveling through space, and all of his crew have been frozen.
My son.
And so he needs to find the antidote to them being frozen or something.
Yeah, he has to go to. He's fighting against the gods of Olympus and stuff like that. And No is the little nut-eating, or eats bolts robot, little red robot. No. Oh, Telemachus, my son.
There you go. And that was classic. And the Cities of Gold.
Oh, the music for that. The intro.
Yeah, I remember the
12 minutes long.
That's right. But no, that was really good. That was about searching for gold, and was it the Aztec Empire, the Mayans? I can't remember. That was very exciting. And the theme tune, Vecto. Unlimited, wow. Yeah, absolutely. What a theme tune. And I don't know what else around that age. I can't remember. They were classics. I used to love Knight Rider. It's not a cartoon.
That's my favourite, Michael Knight. Yeah.
Oh, man. So good. The theme tune.
Do you know what? Maybe it's just me, but in the 80s, do you remember even Jason the Wheeled Argonauts? The music was like proper back in tunes music to cartoons. Like it was a proper rock and roll music. Danger Mouse says Downton Abbey.
Danger Mouse.
Downturn Abbey. Did I say Downton Abbey? That's it, Downturn Abbey. Oh my God.
Danger Mouse. Yeah, Penfold's one of my heroes. He remains one of my heroes.
Oh my God. Absolutely brilliant. But what else will we finish here? If there was a battle between the Glazers, FSG, Kroenke, Abramovich, who would win money-wise? A battle? Who would win money-wise? What do you mean? Who has the most money? Is that what you mean?
I think Abramovich has got the most money. I think that's...
Nobody even knows how much he has. That's the problem. That is the problem, isn't it?
There's a documentary about Putin on...
wow.
On
horseback
Netflix. Anyway, it's got that footage of him on topless on a horse or whatever it was. But no, it's very, very interesting. The transition between communism and capitalism in Russia, and how Abramovich was one of the original people who was like, basically, I don't know, he's got lots of ties to Putin. It's quite interesting, worth exploring. And I don't see how you can have a fit and proper, be a fit and proper, pass the fit and proper test that the Premier League's supposed to have for their owners. But there you go.
Yeah. Here's a really good from Retro Unlimited. Actually, I think he's a YouTube channel, retro stuff, so he should know. The woman who Michael Knight fancied in Knight Rider, Hoff, married in real life. They divorced and she married a man called Michael Knight.
No way.
What? Michael,
that's amazing.
Son. Oh my God, that is. Michael Knight, the name is just synonymous. Do you remember V?
Yeah, I remember. I think I was a little bit too young to understand what was going on, but I loved
ripping the face off at the lizards.
A bit of violence, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I loved it. Where is Ronaldo?
Question? Yeah.
There you go. Where's Ronaldo going? I think he's going to stay another year at Juve. I think he's going to run his contract out. That's what I heard.
I don't know. I thought the question was about the Brazilian Ronaldo. Where's he going on his holidays? Ibiza. I don't know. No, I have no idea. Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't know.
Don't care. You don't care.
I don't care, to be honest. No, sorry.
Good answer to everything. Google it. Google it, baby. Guys, yeah. Unless you want to get one or two last questions in, we shall rock and roll. It's been absolutely brilliant. Owen from the Cop On podcast. And if you want to find out about the Cop On podcast, where is Sigerson going? Possibly jail. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about the bloody thing, but I suppose you're what's the famous saying in life? Guilty until proven. Is that the famous saying we always say?
I think it's the other way. Innocent until proven.
Oh, sorry, guilty until proven. I mean, in this case, probably guilty until proven. But innocent until proven. But it sounds the other way. But Owen, Cop On podcast. Where can we find you?
Well,
Let me know.
we've just gone into our fourth season. Season 4, episode 1 is out there. We discussed the last friendly against Mainz and loads of other Liverpool stuff. You can get it on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. You look for Cop On, or Google it, as Retro Unlimited said. You can Google it as well. No, it's been going. Yeah, so into our fourth season now. It's for all Liverpool fans and fans of any football club are welcome to listen. And just innocent till proven guilty. Yes, I've seen that pun. It's a pretty good pun, but I don't know.
It's probably a little crass.
About it, to be honest,
a little crass. We shall move on. So, Cop On Podcast, you're on all the major Spotify, all these, the whole lot.
Yeah, we might get into YouTube one day if
you should
things. People say that, but it's just about finding time. I've got loads of unknowns in my life at the moment. Quite a lot of uncertainty. But the one thing is for sure that we'll keep producing content as often as possible. So,
but when you're doing your live show, when you're doing with your earphones and you're actually doing the Cop On. See, I know you like editing it, don't you? At the end, you have to edit it, so you can't really do it live. Is that what you're saying?
I can't do it live also because it's complicated. It's long to explain. But yeah, I possibly in the future, yes, possibly this season we're going to start doing live YouTube things. But for now, it's just, the old classic, just for your aural entertainment. If anyone wants to listen to Cop On, then please do, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Guys, I think we leave it there. We're 1 hour, 6 minutes in. Wow, I was only meant to be doing for about 20 minutes, but Owen and myself enjoyed it so much we stayed on longer. Owen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Dave. It's been really enjoyed it. And thanks to everyone in the chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here, guys. A lot more content to come. The season starts in earnest. Stay safe. This means more. Cheers, guys. Bye.